Welcome to my class student. It's class 6 English grammar. We are doing chapter 5 verbs. This is session 2. In this we are going to learn strong and weak verbs. What are the strong verbs and what are the weak verbs? Let's start. Now verbs are, as you know, main verbs and the helping verbs. The main verbs are of two types, regular and irregular. Those which are regular, they are weak verbs, and those which are irregular, these are strong verbs. Now, weak verbs. Weak verbs or regular verbs form the past tense by adding ed, d or t to the base form or present tense form of the verb. For example, call, called. See here, ed is there. Walk, walked, ed is there. And if you go to the list of the verb, you will find everything. Just a mean is there. If mean is the main verb, its past is meant. So we are seeing T here. Now ed you have done. Now D. Cry. Now here, cried. Now is this again the ed. So in this way you are seeing. So we are seeing with the d, ed and t, we are making the past form. Now strong verbs. Strong verbs are irregular verbs. Form the past tense or the past participle in various ways, but most often by changing the vowel of the present tense form. So what is the present tense form? They just change the vowel. For example, give, here vowel is I, it has become past by changing I to A, gave. And stick, stuck. So these are all strong verbs, irregular verbs. You will have to go through this. You will have to learn the spellings. Everything you will have to be very careful. But in the weak verbs, you can only write ed, d or t. The present form becomes the past form. But in strong verbs, you will have to understand there are different forms. That's why they are called irregular verbs. Now, kinds of strong verbs. There are two kinds of strong verbs. First, those that form the past participle by the addition of n, en or ne. N, en or ne. Past participle. For example, eaten. Eaten. See, en. Done. Done. N-E. Right? So in this way you are seeing that we are making past participle. So that is the kind of strong verb. Then those that form the past participle without any such addition. And second type of strong verbs are that they are not making past participle with this addition. It's simple. For example, now irregular verbs are sometimes called strong verbs. Why it is called? Because they seem to form the past tense from their own resources without calling an ending to their assistant. They don't want any ending words for their assistant. They do it from their own resources. They just change the vowel, and in this way they make the strong verbs, and they just keep it as simple as the main verb is. So in this way they are not depending on something else. For example, arise, arisen, beat, beaten, become, became, become. So in this way you are seeing, if you go through the three forms of these irregular verbs, you will realize that yes, these are irregular verbs. They don't have any assistance. Begin, began, begun. Begin, B-E-G-N, and begun, B-E-G-U-N. So they have just changing the vowels. Bend, bent, bent. Now bite, bit, bite, bitten. Bleed, bled, bled. Then blow, blew, blown. So in this way you are saying there is no ed or d. So they are making past tense from their own resources. Go through all these things and then you will have an idea. But the weak verbs, the regular verbs are sometimes called weak verbs because they cannot form the past tense without the aid of the ending, most often ed. For example, add to added, admire to admired, admit to admitted, advise to advised. So in this way you are seeing d, ed they use at the end of the verb. Now, weak verbs there are different kinds of weak verbs. Verbs which form the past tense by adding d, ed or t to the present with no change in the vowel sound. Verbs which form the past tense by adding d, ed or t to the present verb with no change in the vowel sound. They don't change the vowel sound. For example, love. They haven't changed the vowel sound. They loved is the past and loved is the past participle. Next, second, verbs which add d or t and also change the vowel sound. For example, creep. So this is changed as crept. Then tell. So told, told. See, vowel sound is changed. Now, verbs which end in d or t and simply shorten their vowel sound in the past tense. For example, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 letter. Now it's of 3 letters. Feed, fed, fed. Now verbs which have all the 3 forms alike. This is how these all come into weak forms. That's a bed, 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 hit, 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 set, 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 and put, put, put. Now here we are seeing one more thing. Now here we are seeing one more thing, that is participle. So what is the participle? A participle is a word formed from a verb, from the main verb, going, gone, and used as an adjective. Working women, for example, what women? Working women. Or a noun, good breeding. So participle is used as an adjective like a working women, or as a noun, that is good breeding. So in English we use participle to make compound verb forms, and that is going, has been, going. So in this way we are using participle also. Now, a participle is a word that is partly verb and partly an adjective. So we use a combination of auxiliary verb, that is helping verb, to make the participle. Like with a broom, right? Mrs. Olsen with a broom, Mrs. Olsen was beating. So was is your auxiliary and beating is your participle. Was beating an alligator over the head in an attempt to retrieve her poodle. So was is an auxiliary and beating is a present participle. Now both past and present participle functions as adjectives, and that describes nouns. So when it is used in an adjective, we think we have a passive meaning. For example, a burned child, a child who is burned. So participle, the burnt, that is past participle we have used to describe a child, that is noun, and burnt is used as an adjective. So which child are you getting admitted? Which child do you want to get admitted in the hospital? A burnt child. Now when used in an adjective, the present participle has an active meaning. That has the passive meaning, this has an active meaning. A barking dog, a dog who is barking. A rolling stone, a stone that is rolling. So here it is active. subject is doing by itself, but a burnt child cannot go to the hospital and get itself admitted. So someone needs to get him admitted to the hospital. So that in the past participle it is passive, but in the present participle it has active meaning. Now use of the present participle. Now in the progressive tenses we are saying is reading. Reading is a participle. Now he is reading, he was reading. In the present progressive, in the past progressive, right? Now as a gerund we can use reading book is fun and he likes reading books. Now adjective, look at the reading boy, a boy who is reading. So that is as an adjective. And with other words, he came reading around the corner. He sat reading in the corner. I saw him reading. So in this way we are saying with other words also we are using participle. Now past participle how we are using? As a perfect tense. For example, he has forgotten the pencil. Now this is the past participle. He had forgotten the pencil. And in the passive voice, a house is built. See, built, built, built. So past participle is built. A house is built. A house was built. Now as an adjective, how can we use the past participle? Look at the washed car. A car that has been washed. Now with the other words, the car washed yesterday is blue. The car that was washed yesterday was blue. He had his car washed. So in the past participle you are using with other words. Now there is one more thing, that is the perfect participle. What is perfect participle? It indicates completed action. For example, it is with the having we put this participle. We form it by putting the present participle having in front of the past participle. For example, see, having improved, right? Having improved her English, Pia's promotion prospects were much better. And this perfect participle can be used to form passive voice also. Next is perfect participle. Now here, in the further example, we have seen, in the previous example, you have seen having improved her progress. That means one action happened after the other. Her progress report was better. Pia's progress report was better because she had improved. Now, in the present participle, the perfect participle is like the boy came reading out of the room. So, both the actions are at the same time. He came reading out of the room. So, coming and reading, both actions are together at the same time. So, what have we learned today? We have learned strong verbs, weak verbs, perfect participle. And in this way, this session is over. In the next class, I will teach you something more interesting. Till then, have a good revision. Thank you.